Good day, everyone. Today I'll be talking about one of the toughest lessons, that I learned in my journey, and that is the enemy is first from within. But before I go ahead to talk about this topic, I want to appreciate everyone that has subscribed to my YouTube channel, to everyone that has shared my videos to bless others, to everyone that has liked. I am indeed very grateful. I appreciate your support, and I pray that as you support me on this journey, as you encourage me to shine my light, that you would also find encouragement, you'll find support, and your light will shine brighter. Thank you very much. So as I was saying, this was one of the toughest lessons, that I learned on my journey. And when I talk about enemy, whenever you talk about enemy, people are quick to, have a picture, in their mind, of somebody or some persons, or look at it from the spiritual perspective first. Yeah, there's a spiritual perspective of that, of the enemy. But before I go ahead, I would first of all like to describe what I consider as enemy here so that you can see the perspectives I'm coming from. So an enemy is anything or anyone that is not allowing you to live your best life. And the two perspectives I'll be talking of is one, from the individual perspective, seeing yourself as an entity, seeing yourself as a nation. And I will now talk about the second perspective, which happens to be you and your environment. Do you understand? So, from the perspective of you as an individual, as an entity, there are some enemies within that we need to conquer that are not allowing us to live our best lives. And those enemies are operating or succeeding because we are yet to come to full knowledge, of those things. One of those enemies that are within that I would like to talk about is childhood traumas, background traumas, procrastination, laziness, things that have affected our esteem, our personalities, one way or the other, that have now become giants within us that we have refused to face, that we have refused to conquer, that we have refused to deal with. Now, I will talk about a childhood experience that I had that almost truncated my journey. If not for the help of God, and for me at that age being able to know and discern what I really wanted for my life and for myself. As a child, I haven't come from a broken home. I was in primary school then, and I was going to a very good primary school. And along the line, my parents separated, and, it affected a lot of things. So I couldn't really, my mom at that point, having to, fend for us alone. I was a brilliant child. I was doing well. I was a very brilliant, exceptional child at that time. And till now too, yeah. So I was able to write my common entrance because my mom believed so much in me. She allowed me write my common entrance in primary 4. She wanted me to go to Odogbolu Girls, and I wrote the common entrance. I passed, but because our financial capacity could not fund me going to Odogbolu Girls, she just found a secondary school then that was just starting. and she enrolled me there. At the time she enrolled me, they didn't have GSS1 students. So I was told to join the GSS2 students. Pending the time they get admission for more GSS1 students, then they would start. So I joined the GSS2 students and I was coping. It was not the class I was supposed to be, but I was coping as a child, And by the time GSS1 will start proper, I had gone halfway, with the GSS2 students, and my mom and the proprietor just felt, oh, she will do well, she would cope, just let her proceed. And by the time my mom could get her balance financially, I'd already done GSS3 in the school, and she got another secondary school that she felt was better, academically, and she enrolled me in it. In the SS1, I did their entrance examination and it was okay. So they allowed me, move into the class. But then my mother wanted me to join sciences, being a nurse. She wanted me to do sciences, become a doctor. And I just felt, okay, let me please this woman. Let me make this woman happy. And I forged ahead into the science class and I began to struggle. I was facing a lot of challenge. I was not happy, being a bright student from my primary school days and, doing well in my junior secondary school. And I'll find myself struggling, in the senior secondary school class. And it began to affect my esteem. I didn't want to do this, I struggled from SS1 to SS2. I struggled from SS2 through SS2, I was trying to cope, But when I was supposed to go into the SS3, I was promoted on trial. And I bought my report card home. And when my mom saw it, she was not pleased. And she said, for this reason, I'm not going to allow you to go into SS3 promoted on trial. You would have to repeat the class and, do sciences. It was a big struggle for me. It came with tears and all. But I didn't want to agree. I was promoted on trial. I wasn't told to repeat. Why do you want me to repeat? And she said, I cannot afford you to write your WAEC or JAMB and fail. Mi ò lè máa dájọ́ fún WAEC àti JAMB. And then somehow I told her, Mommy, because I don't know, as a child, I just looked inward that is science really what I want to do? I can't even stand blood. As a child, I'll begin to fidget. So why do I want to become a doctor? Why am I in the science class? And I told her that, Mommy, if you want me to repeat, then I am not going to do sciences again. I am going to do arts. And she said, Ọmọ gidi wo ló wà ní art class? Kí ló ń ṣe ń bẹ̀? Ọpọlọ tó fẹ́ fi ka arts kọ́ ló máa fi ka sciences ni. So if you cannot do well in sciences, you can't do well in arts. But as a child, I just kept no, I want to become a lawyer. Law is what I want to study. I want to become a lawyer. I want to fight for people. Then I was telling myself, I want to fight for women that are going through abuse in their marriage, women that are being maltreated by their husbands, And I kept telling myself that. She never agreed. It took people's intervention because I stood my ground as a child that I am not, going to proceed to science class or repeat going back to the same science class. And she eventually, after a lot of, advice from people, she agreed that, I go into the arts class. And I repeated. I had to, I had to conquer a lot of esteem issues then. But I did. And when I did, I went into the art class And for the first time in my secondary school years, I came out fantastically well. And to the glory of God, a lot of teachers came, they apologized to me that they had mocked me in their staff room. And they had said to themselves that nothing good can come out of me. I wrote my WAEC. I cleared my papers at once. I wrote my JAMB. I cleared my papers at once. Why did I say that story? I said that story because for a lot of us, before we look at the spiritual aspects, the reason why we are not shining is because we have not come to the knowledge of whom we are. We have not looked at those things on the inside, those battles, those struggles, those challenges that are facing us on the inside. Childhood traumas that are inhibiting us. Weaknesses that are stopping our light from shining. Weaknesses like you not being able to come to a place of self-truth. Enemies of procrastination. Enemies of laziness. Enemies of lies. Enemies of self-denial. Not accepting that some things have happened to you or are happening to you, or there is a certain way that you are living that is not allowing you to shine. Until we as a person, or you as a person, begin to look inwards to know, am I living my true self? Am I happy here? Is this what I really want to do? What is stopping me from doing what I am supposed to do? What is stopping me from shining my light? What is stopping me from being happy? Until you discover those enemies, you would not be able to live the life that God has designed for you on earth. You won't be able to live your true self. And until you come to that knowledge, you would continually be conquered on the outside because you have refused to deal with the issues, with the enemies, with those things that are stopping you from living your true self on the inside. Now, I would also talk about it from the environmental perspective, from the people around you, from the spiritual aspect. Recently, having become a lawyer, establishing my law firm, and practicing for a while, I began to grow. I was doing good things, for myself. Along the line, when the battles of life came, when life began to happen to me, I just noticed that business was not going well as usual. I was struggling, business front. I was struggling on the family front too. A lot of things, we are just jamming together. It was looking like the world was against me. And then I would just stay at home. I would pray. I would cry. I would be like, God, where have I gone wrong? What is going on with me? Why is my business not prospering again? What is happening? And then one day, I got a call. I got a call from a family member. And he said, Tommy, I've been wanting to say this to you, but no vex so. So and so person, that something happened between you, an incident happened between you at the office the other time. Who happens to be a family member, a very close family member. That person no be ordinary person, no. Go and beg the person. And I said, what is going on? I got a call from another person, a message rather from another person again saying, Tommy, go and beg this person. I see you and this person struggling, that God gave me a revelation, and I see that you and this person, you are tussling in the realm of the spirit. And considering the kind of family I come from, I had had several occasions, with that person of, how will I put it now? Encounters that would always lead to you begging on a regular basis. And I'm like, what is it gone? I'm not begging again. I'm tired. Why would someone just want to be a terror, in my life at the time? And I just felt, okay, maybe this person is bitter. I was ascribing it to, traumatic life experience for that person. So I was living with the person. I was tolerating this particular family member until that time came, and they were telling me, told me, if you don't go and beg this person, things may not happen. But I was doubting it in my spirit that no, this person cannot be that kind of a person. Because I was actually looking at it from the outside that, okay, maybe I'd offended somebody on the outside, or maybe somebody somewhere. I didn't look at it that the battle was coming from my own people, from my own person, from a family member that, I cherished so much. So one day, after so many appeals, because I'm very stubborn, I could be very, I don't want to use the word stubborn, but I'm very strong-willed. I had to let down my guard. And I went to meet this person. And I knelt down. And I said, please, forgive me. Please forgive me. There's a Yoruba adage that says that Tí kúnlé ò bá pani, tòde ò lè pani. That was what I saw on that day. And I begged. And the person said, wọ́n ti ní kó wá bẹ̀ mí àbí? Ó tí rí kankan. Ṣé owó lo rò pé ó ní? Má worry, jẹ́ kí n máa rí ẹ kó máa náwó náà. Hey, Jesus. That day I wept. I cried. I begged. It happened like film. If anybody had told me what was being said to me, if anybody had told me at any point in my life that kind of sin, that kind of incident was ever going to happen to me, or that person was such a person, I would have denied it. I would have said it was impossible. And I begged, I cried. But since the person has now revealed themselves, that day I went home with my family. And I got home. I could not sleep. I was in shock. But there is this adage that says in Yoruba that the day you know your enemy is the day that you have won the battle. And that was the first step to my breakthrough. That was when I knew that the battles I was facing was not my friends or maybe somebody, it was within. It was someone close to me. And that day when I was crying, God said, look at the story of Joseph. God said, if there was no Judas, how would I have died on the cross? When you discover your enemy, whether the one on the inside or the one outside, don't hate them. Deal with the issues, knowing that they are there to push you to glory. Your weaknesses are there for you to conquer, to push you to your manifestations. Your enemies are there. You know, when the Bible says pray for your enemies, pray for them. Love them. Even while you are setting boundaries, pray for them. Because they are there to spur you to destiny. But before you can conquer the enemy on the inside, before you can conquer the enemy on the outside, ensure that you discover them first. That God opens your eyes to it before victory can come. Once again, like my video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share for someone to be blessed. And for everyone going through one challenge or the other, I assure you, light will come, ìmọ́lẹ̀ á tàn, and your true self will shine. Till I see you again next time, be blessed.